Relationship capital is more powerful than financial capital. And in this video, I'm going to share with you how you can establish trust in your business relationships.
I'm on the rise.
Today's topic is how to build trust in business relationships. The truth is, relationship capital is more powerful than financial capital. And I actually prove it. One of my goals is to do things that money cannot buy. The only way you can get there is because you have relationships and other people are willing to do things for you because the relationship that you have built, that you can't just buy it. For example, we went to Italy and everybody goes to the Vatican, and when they go to Rome and they go to the Sistine Chapel. And my instruction to my local partner was that I don't want to do anything that tourists can do, because my masterminds are very expensive, because they're exclusive 5-star, and for that I want to do things that are exclusive, that are unique. And when everybody goes to see Sistine Chapel, of course we did go Sistine Chapel, but that's not where we stopped. We went and saw Pope's private chapel. We went literally inside Pope's dressing room. I'm talking about literally his vestry. We just looked at his gowns and everything, the person that the Pope wears, and the sofa that he sits when the first papal announcement is made. We go through the balcony where the Pope stands in St. Peter's. Oh my God, it's just, I'm not even Christian. I had goosebumps just going there because it's just a place of reverence. That so many popes, thousands of years of history right there in that room. And every one of my people were just stunned that how could we get in there? Because there are no, tourists cannot buy that. The only reason we got there is because my local partner, she had built relationship with the Vatican. So if you want to build trust in your relationship, so first you have to build a relationship. Quality of your life is the quality of your relationships. What made the biggest difference that I do is I don't manage leads and funnels and contacts. I manage relationships and friendships. And that has made all the difference. And that's where you get the highest ROI in life. And when the relationship becomes friendship, then you have eliminated competition. Here's the number one principle if you want to build quality relationship. It is so simple. I know you know it, but hopefully it'll remind you forefront that if you want to build quality relationship, the number one principle is get into the relationship to give, not to get. I know you know it, but sometimes we forget and we don't practice it. The getting part is automatic. It's like you can't just inhale without exhaling. If you're not transactional, your giving means you're giving with no strings attached. One of the biggest misconceptions in the West that I find is that they always ask that, hey, I give this person so much, they never give back. It's really the person that you give to that gives you back. It's a universal hand. It's the invisible hand that gives you back. You've all of a sudden have good things happen to you that you weren't expecting, and that's the getting part from there. Now that I've given you the biggest number one principle for building relationship, let me give you the number one mistake people make in building relationship. They rush it. Don't rush relationships. Don't chase contacts, don't chase leads, don't chase joint ventures. Develop relationships and develop trust. I'm going to give you 7 steps. It is so simple that it reminds me of that. Have you read the book that everything I need to learn, I learned in kindergarten? And if you haven't, look at it. It's because those are the fun that your mother already taught you that we forgot. Number 1 is be real. Don't pretend to be someone that you're not. This was a 38,000 square foot mansion, and the second largest mansion in the same golf course lake community was 25,000, and that was in the market for 25 million. This is 38,000. I just told the owner that, look, I'm not even in the same league as you are, so I don't want to pretend that I can afford to buy this your mansion, but I know people who can. Do you mind if I and I bring them to you, his first question is, are you a realtor? Are you a broker? How am I going to pay you? What commission do you want? What do you want? I said, hold on, hold your horses. You don't have to pay me anything. And if you really want to pay me, what I would like to know is what the heck do you do in order to own a house like this? It's 38,000 square foot. Most people have never set foot in their entire life in a 38,000 square foot private residence. Most people walk, I remember they used to walk into the house and they look around and goes, yeah, I think I've been to this hotel before. Long story short is he ended up asking me to buy the house, and I said I can't afford it. He says, don't worry about it, I will owner finance it. So he did all the things. I could have, when they come to you, it's a game changer. And my point is that I was real. I didn't pretend, oh, I'm a big shot, and then he find out, because he would know, he can find out. And so I was just who I am, and that's what built the relationship. So step one of building trust is be real. Step two is be interested, not interesting. The difference is when you're interested, you ask questions. You ask about them. When you're interesting, you keep talking or show them how interesting I am, how I have this, I have that. And I remember, of course, he's my mentor. I have a separate journal just for him. That when I would bring people and they would go on a tour of the house, I would go tour of his office and I will sit there and just journal and just write. I ask questions like, what's going to be your legacy? Have you written a book? And so these kind of questions, and then how did you get to where you are? Are you a trust fund kid? And it's a first generation. So I have so much respect for first generation wealth builders that they've done it through their own hard work, determination. So be interested, not interesting. Step three is become a value adder, not a taker. Become a value adder. And probably the best book that I've read on that topic is a book by Bob Berg, and he's a co-author, called Go Giver. It's a play on the words of go-getter. Instead of becoming a go-getter, become a go-giver. Number four, and this is where it gets so simple. If you want to build trust, the relationship, show up on time. It shows that you respect the other person, nothing else. And that's what built trust. That you're not just casual about taking their time for granted. And and I don't expect perfection, if you're going to be late, call them in advance. Not that, hey, you're running late, so that they know, so they can do other things instead of just waiting, don't know what happened. And if they need to reschedule, they'll tell you. Number five is do what you say you'll do. Show that your word is as good as gold. Don't just make empty promises that pretty soon you'll lose credibility and you'll lose trust. You say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and you don't do it. So do what you say, and do what you say you'll do. And number six, finish what you started. Don't become an starter and not a finisher. So you have all these projects, all these things that are all over, that creates stress. Those are called open loops, and they're just energy drainer. You start something, you finish it. And finally, number seven, say please and thank you. And my only request is, don't say thank you. Write a personal, handwritten thank you note. And it's not what you say in the thank you note, it's the effort. I wrote a whole book on that topic, and I do a keynote speech on that, the power of personal thank you notes. And it's one of my favorite talks. It's my signature talks, and when I do that, there's not a dry eye in the audience because I get so emotional. The power of handwritten thank you notes. And the sad part is that it shouldn't be that powerful. You know why it's so powerful? It's because so very few people do this, especially in this age of internet and texting and email, all electronic format. It is not the same as saying thank you or texting thank you or emailing thank you. And I'm not saying that don't do that. Those are better than nothing. But if you want to build trust, if you want to build a solid relationship, then write a personal handwritten thank you note. It shows that you've taken that extra effort the time to put a stamp, to write an address, and these days nobody gets email, not snail mail. So when I get a snail mail, I get it, I preach about it. So when I get it, I say, wow, this person took that extra time. I now want to put my time, my capital into this relationship and build further trust. So I hope this is so simple that you don't take it for granted. You don't just say, roll your eyes, oh, I already know it. Because if you knew it, you wouldn't be listening to it. It's the top people, what I find, it's not they're asking for always new. It's what we stopped doing or forgot. Sometimes we need refresher. It is the basic things, like I was telling you, that everything I want to learn, I learned at kindergarten. Have I said anything earth-shattering? No. But these are monumentally effective because so very few people do it. So go do it. Relationships are key. Absolutely. The quality of your life is the quality of your relationships. So that you can have really this thing in more in-depth, I'm going to give you a special gift. So just click here below or here and you'll have a more in-depth on this topic so you can have a much rewarding life. Thank you.